Sometimes it's hard to find the positive in a situation, but I think one of the few good things about our quarantine situation right now is the newfound abundance of time that many people are finding themselves with. I've been finding new ways to invest in myself, learning about investing on YouTube, taking Coursera courses, and there's just a ton of information, and anyone can learn a ton of stuff on YouTube. Today, I think a fun video idea is just exploring something that I've always wanted to get into, and that's animation. I'm not the best drawer in the world, but, you know, there's no reason to not consider jumping into it. I'm just gonna watch a how to animate in Krita? I'm gonna have to download that, aren't I? How to animate for beginners, free animation software. Okay, so that was a very attractive title for me. I put this on my watch list ages ago, wanting to make this video, by the way. And it's made by Jesse J. Jones. I don't know you, but I'm gonna start getting to know you real soon. And I'll also link this tutorial and Jesse J. Jones's channel in the description. You know, let's just watch this tutorial, see what happens. I'm excited, I'm terrified.
So in this tutorial, I'll show you how to animate with my favorite free animation program, Krita, which is sort of like Photoshop. It's great for painting backgrounds, but also for doing frame-by-frame animation.
Okay, straightforward.
Once we're on Krita's website, we're going to go up to Download, and we want the Krita desktop version. And the installer I'm going to use is 16. Click Next, and just install it in the default folder.
Wait,
and
I'm still downloading it.
Checked. It will look
Wait,
like
what's
this.
shell integration? Hold on.
New image.
Okay, yay, it's complete. It was like this big to begin with, and then like a ton of stuff just happened, and it was like, okay, completed. I was like, I thought it was gonna take like a few minutes, but okay, great. Okay, I clicked finish.
So I'll go ahead and open up Krita by double-clicking on its icon.
Should I record
So
both
when
of
you
these?
first open up Krita, it will look like this. To create a new image, we're going to go up to 5.
Wait, I'm gonna open up my other thing. Okay, so now I have Krita in the bottom left and the tutorial in the upper right. If this ends up looking too small in editing, then I'll play with sizes and do my own little thing. My face is probably gonna be in here somewhere.
And we have a new blank document, which we can go ahead and start drawing in. So let's figure out how to navigate in Krita. So to zoom in and out, it's minus and plus on your keyboard, on the top right by the backspace button. To pan around, hold down the space bar and your cursor will become a hand, and you can move around your page this way.
Oh, cool.
To draw, we're going to grab our brush tool, which is right here, or we could press B as in boy to quickly get to our brush.
Oh, I actually can't see the whole
the default
interface.
brush may not be the brush that you want.
My
so
TD cuts off.
This
video is so fucked. It only took me like 18 more minutes, and I figured it out. Hopefully it works, and let's see if this video just gets completely fucked and I can't use it.
A hand, and you can move around your page this way.
I'm also using a
To draw,
trackpad.
we're going to grab our brush tool, which is right here, or we could press B as in boy to quickly get to our brush. Now, the default brush may not be the brush that you want, so the window that I like to use is usually this brush preset window over here. And if you don't see that, go under Settings, Dockers, and Brush Presets. We'll be using the Dockers later, so note that our animation and our time these kind of brushes. So this wet one
that was a layer.
Kind of nice for doing painting, like backgrounds or something of that sort. Ink is good for sketching and doing your doodles.
Ink.
And you'll notice that I'm getting pressure sensitivity, so when I press harder, I have a thick line, and when I let go and press more softly, I get a thin line. So
is he using a Cintiq?
I'm using a tablet to draw. I'm actually not using my mouse. If I were to use my mouse, it would look more like this. It's kind of clunky, and there's no pressure sensitivity. But you totally can animate with a mouse, but I would highly recommend getting a drawing tablet.
I'm animating with a
drawing tablet that I would recommend.
I'm animating with a trackpad, boy. Okay, so it's a free tutorial, but then he immediately says you can buy a tablet and make your life easier. My God.
Video description below. If you want to erase something, the eraser is located at the top. This is also where your settings are for every tool that you use. So
I'm fucking doing this. I'm fucking doing this with my trackpad. We're gonna get through this tutorial if it kills me.
Eraser button here. Let's talk about layers. Which layer on top of it will be on top, but then on top of that layer may be another stack of paper.
Paint.net uses the same thing. I'm used to that because I make the thumbnails, so that's usually pretty involved.
So here's a really cool feature in Krita. If we right-click, a window will appear showing all the tools that we can select, as well as a color picker. The way this menu works is it selects from this brush preset window. If you'll remember, we had all these different selections. So if we click this menu button right here, you'll see all the same options. So I can select mix for mixing colors, or I can select ink for all my ink tools. You can also change the setting of the tool you have selected by clicking this arrow tool here, and you can change the size, opacity, and other options. If you'd like to create a new loadout for this menu, you can go under your brush preset window and click this tag drop down here and create a new tag by typing it in and pressing enter. And you'll see right now it's blank. There's nothing added to it. We can add a brush by right-clicking on a brush, assign the tag, and then selecting our newly created tag. Or we can create a new tag down here. So if I right-click and add some brushes to my newly created tag, and then select that tag from this menu button, you'll see all the brushes that we added. So that's
fascinating.
I like the demo that it has by default. It has a pretty good selection of tools to pick from.
That's
and you
really
can
cool.
Also choose the paint bucket will fill in with whatever foreground color you have selected. You can also, with the paint bucket tool, turn on the eraser mode. You can select whatever color you want using the control button.
Let's make a little red boy.
If you don't have a drawing tablet, there's also these geometric tools over here that you can use to help you draw. So there's a line for a straight line, a square, a circle, a polygon, and a whole bunch of other tools to use. So when you select one of these, let's say we select the line tool, it will use the properties of whatever brush you have selected. So if I use this dark ink, it looks like that. If I use the soft ink, it looks like that. And if I use the airbrush, it looks like that. And
what is he on?
So horizontal mirror tool, and I can create these symmetrical drawings that are the same on the left and the right side. And I can also cross over the
That's
horizontal
super
line.
fascinating.
So another useful feature to know about is how to manipulate your drawings. So over here we have our manipulation tools. Mostly we're just going to be using this free transform tool, which is this box with all the handles around it. You can also press the hotkey of Control-T. So this tool is very useful. It's kind of a whole bunch of tools in one. For one, if you have your cursor in the middle, it'll become arrows, and you can move your drawing around. If you have it on the outside of the corner, it'll turn into a rotation symbol, and you can rotate your drawing. Also, if you move this anchor point in the middle by dragging it somewhere else, our rotation will happen around that anchor point.
That's basic.
If you grab right on the corners, you'll get your scale option. And just like with other tools, if you hold shift, it'll keep the same aspect ratio.
So far, it's very similar.
If you put your cursor on the edge right here, you can shear your drawing. And then when you're done, you just press enter, and your transformation will be all done. If you didn't want to keep that transform, you just press escape, and it'll reset back to its original position. If you ever do anything
you can do
you
escape?
didn't mean to, you can always press Control-Z to undo, or
That's
go
what I've
to
been
Edit, Undo, and you can press Control-Shift-Z to redo. But let's say you didn't want to move the whole guide. Let's say you just wanted to move this arm right here. Well, we'd need to make a selection. And with that, we use our selection tools down here. The one I use most often is this one right here that looks kind of like a bean. And what this is it is a lasso tool. So you can get really specific selections with it. So we'll just select inside his arm
I don't
right
use
here,
the lasso
and then we'll
tool,
press
actually.
Control-T to transform it. We'll move our pivot point down to where his shoulder would be, and we can now rotate his arm, just like this. And to deselect your drawing, just press Control-Shift-A,
so I can move his
or go
eye.
under Select and Deselect. Another useful shortcut is how to change the brush size. So right now my brush is pretty big.
So I could move his
If I
eye
want to
in
resize
theory.
it, I can use the bracket keys and use my
Well,
left
that
bracket
was
to
horizontal
go
mirroring.
smaller.
Hold on, let me go back.
And
Oh my
another useful
god.
shortcut is how to change the brush size. So right now my
but I would
brush
need
is
that to be
pretty big.
I would need the red to be
If
the
I wanna
background.
resize
Okay.
it,
I wonder if I can do this in Paint.net. Just because I know the interface better. I should learn the new program, but I want to see real quick if I can do this in Paint.net. And I've never used the... Oh my god, there's a lasso selection tool that I never use. It seemed so straightforward to traditional, like, just digital art software. So, and then he started talking about the Dockers while I was creating my little man face there. And you see, this is why I followed the instructions, even though I didn't. Great.
So to begin animating, we're going to want a few different tools. We're going to want to go up to Settings, Dockers, and there's...
So, basically, it was how to do digital art in Krita for the first half, and now we're getting into the animation. Okay, so cool. All the stuff up to this point, I should have just been listening. So be a good student, don't be like David. If the tutorial recommends you use a particular thing, there's most likely a reason. You can take your stuff to a program that you're familiar with after the fact, but I really should have been using this from the get. Okay, animation.
3 Dockers that we want to grab for animation. First off, we want to grab the timeline. Probably the most important one.
Settings,
so that'll
Dockers.
appear at the bottom here. We also want to grab our settings, Dockers, and onion skin. This is how we're going to see the drawings that come before, which is super important for animation. And we're also going to go up to settings, Dockers, and animation. So I don't really like this layout. It kind of puts everything just in whatever blocks. If you want to move some windows around, you just click on the name and drag it where you want it to go. I usually like to put my onion skin over here, and then I
Do
like
it.
to drag my animation window, and if I select over the onion skin, it'll highlight the onion skin, and that way it gets dropped into the same window. So now I can
cool.
switch between. So in the animation window, you can see what frame you're currently on, how many frames long your animation is, controls to play your animation, how fast your animation will play in your preview, and what frame rate your animation is at. The higher the frame rate, the faster your animation will be, and the lower it is, the slower your animation will be. Over here are buttons for editing your frames. The first one is to create a new frame, the second one is to copy your frame, and the third one is to remove a frame. This onion icon just turns on and off your onion skin window. This second in the middle on the bottom button is called auto frame, and what this does is if you're animating on your timeline and you go to a spot where there's no frame and start drawing, it will create a frame automatically, so I like to leave this on. And the third option on the bottom is drop frames. Now what this means is your animation will try to play at the correct speed, and in order to keep up, depending on how fast your computer is, it might drop frames to keep up with the same speed. And I prefer getting accurate timing in my animation even if it drops a couple frames, so I like to leave this on. In the onion skin window, you can select how many frames before and how many frames after your animation shows you. So for example, if I'm on this frame and I turn my onion skin on by clicking this little light bulb down here next to my layer, I'll see 3 drawings before and 3 drawings after. And I can toggle how many frames are showing by clicking these buttons on the top, and I can also change the opacity of these onion skins by dragging these bars up and down. But usually I like to leave it just by default. You can also choose different colors by changing these colors down here, or removing the colored effect entirely by turning the tint off and on. So let's get started animating.
Okay, so he's about to start animating. I wonder, okay, so now I'm seeing this as I'm looking at the program myself. I'm seeing that layer 1 and layer 3, I mean, it should be layer 2, but I fucked up, so I just made a new one. Okay, layer 1 and layer 3. So, I mean, Paint.net lets you merge them. I'm sure I can merge these layers, right? The thing is, do I want to merge them? Because if I wanted to animate, I would want to animate his, like, eye or something independently. So, okay, you know what? Not going to get ahead of myself. I'm going to just learn how to animate with this dude.
Now, before you can do any animation whatsoever, you have to go down to your timeline and right-click and say New Frame. If you do this after completing your drawing, you'll have to copy and paste it into your new frame because it will erase your artwork. So we want to make sure and select New Frame before we even...
Right-click and say New Frame. It doesn't even give me anything. Wait, is that it? Create blank frame? Oh my fucking god. I quit. You guys are learning a lot about me.
It will erase your artwork. So we want to make sure and select New Frame before we even get started. And you'll see a blue square appear, as well as some additional options appear on the left here. Namely this light bulb, which is your onion skin. You can also lock transparency, lock the layer using this padlock, or turn on and off visibility using this eyeball here. So to create a new frame, we're going to right-click Frame 2 and select New Frame. Or, since our auto frame mode is turned on, I can press the Delete key, and that both removes my artwork and creates a new frame for me to draw in. So to see my previous frame, I need to turn on my onion skin. So I click this little light bulb down here on the bottom left, and you'll see my previous drawing appears in red. So let's do our second drawing.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Frame by frame through
He's
your
moving so
animation,
fast.
and say new.
Oh, crap. We'll stick with red. Okay. And then if I create a new frame, apparently, I can create another red. And then if I turn on onions... Oh, sick! Oh, and it tells me the previous frame was the... Oh, that doesn't help if the previous frame is this tint for red. Okay. I just picked a wrong color. So future frame... So the future frame is there, the past frame is there, and then the red itself just kind of moved. Okay, obviously it's not going to be smooth, but that's cool. This is the stuff I've always wanted to know. It's really straightforward, and I probably could have taught myself this, but it's nice to have someone to teach it to me, so thank you.
Animation, it's the left and right keys. If I want to delete a frame, I just right-click on that animation. It's the left and right keys.
Oh, whoops.
That did it to the YouTube. Frame, I just right-click on that frame and say Remove Frame, or I can use this Remove Frame button down here. So I'm going to move one frame to the right,
so I can
press Delete again to remove that frame, and you'll see my previous 2 drawings showing up, and then I'm going to draw my third frame. So now I have 3 frames of an animation.
Third.
So I'm just going to keep going forward by pressing right and then delete and then drawing my next frame. And I'm just going to follow the motion and see where this line ends up. This is what's called straight ahead animation, where you start at the beginning and you just animate straight ahead. You don't plan any poses or
So you
anything.
hit right
It's a
and then
great
delete.
method for more fluid motions, like say
cool.
dancing or other organic movements. Whereas for something like an acting shot, it's most common to do.
Sorry, I know I did that while he was talking, so I should go back and listen to what he said. Let's just see what it looks like. Okay, so he kind of squiggles around, and I could add more to that, but I think I get the idea. So this one, I can go woo. And then this. And obviously, the more frames I have, the smoother it'll probably look. So if I go right, delete. What's the delete for again? Wait, did I do that right? Okay, right, delete. Okay, now. Ooh, cool. This is addicting in itself, honestly. Right, delete. Okay, there we go. Cool, so now if I... Okay, cool. So it's like a little line and he travels around and he kind of does... Okay, so it's definitely not fluid.
Scrubbing the top up where the numbers are and scrubbing through our animation this way. And if we play our animation by clicking this playhead right here,
I can
you
play
can
it?
see what our animation does. And you'll
Wait,
see it keeps
go
on
back.
playing, and that's because my end frame is at frame 100. So really I want my animation to end at frame 28. So I'm going
so
to
it
change
loops.
that to 28, and now when I play it, at the end it'll loop back to the beginning.
So if I end at
If you
10.
wanted to import audio into your animation, we simply go down to your timeline, and
Oh!
there's this little speaker button that we click.
That's
and then go
janky.
to open audio.
Okay, mine is so janky, but I already see the idea. Dude, I can animate now. Oh, and if I went back to sprites, oh my god. Pre-made sprite. Oh my god. Oh my god, this just opened up a world. Now I know how to link image. Oh my god. Oh, how long will this take to render though? Fuck. Moving on. He's talking about audio, I remember.
And then select your audio file, click open, and now when you scrub through your timeline,
It sure is boring around here.
Zelda.
you'll be able to hear your audio. And because you can scrub, it allows you to hear what sound is playing, and you'll be able to draw mouth shapes to it.
Oh, that's so smart.
And then when you're done with your lip sync,
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
usually it's a good practice to take all of your lip sync and move it 2 frames to the left. So we'll select it all, and we'll move it 2 frames to the left. So when we play it,
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
it'll match up a bit better. If you didn't want this audio, you can copy frames by clicking and dragging while holding the control button, and you'll see your cursor has a little plus sign at the bottom right, and then when you let go, you'll see that you've copied this frame. And this works for individual frames or a group of frames.
Whoa.
So let's say you wanted to do
Control?
an in-between.
Control and... Oh, whoops. I don't know if I did that right. Oh, wait. This needs to go. Wait, so this one, if I hit Control and drag, it creates a copy. Oh my god, it creates a copy. That's sick. And then he said you can do that for in-betweening, and you could just delete it like that.
So let's create a new layer to add on to this animation. In skin so I can see my
New
previous
color?
frame and just doing some straight ahead animation.
Let's do purple.
So now we have 2 animations on 2 different layers, and it'll give you a link to click on. So we'll go ahead and click that.
Oh, so you
when
gotta
we're on
download
FFmpeg's
plugin.
website, we're going to click download to go to the down.
Wait, I just want to see how these 2 layers look. Sorry. Oh, nuts. Okay, it's terrible, but I'm sure I can work on making that smooth later. Ooh, animation.
Download section. And since we're on Windows, we're going to select our Windows operating system, and we'll select Windows Builds. Click about it.
Oh,
now with
so
this
it's actually
window, we
really
wanna go
important.
down to where it says Path.
It's more than just a plugin that you stick in. Okay, that makes sense. Let's, I will do that.
Through email.
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty short, so it doesn't last very long. But
Gives
if
you the
press
whole
Control
PNG
L
sequence?
in
That's a
QuickTime to loop
lot.
it, you'll see our bouncing ball animation. Pretty cool. Not too bad for your first animation. If you want to continue learning animation, I
Mine
highly
is
recommend checking out the Animating
squiggles.
Survival Kit. Link is in the
Awesome.
description below. And that's it.
Cool.
I can't wait to see what you guys work on with this. Krita is one of my favorite programs to animate in. If you have anything you'd like to show off or you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below.
Great. Okay, Jesse J. Jones, that was awesome, actually. I really enjoyed that. First of all, the coolest thing about that was like all the little keyboard shortcuts he gave us, because that's not intuitive to like someone who just picked this up. So that's really good. You could tell he has a lot of experience animating in this program because of the keyboard shortcuts and all the little tricks. And like, I definitely see how like maybe if I downloaded Krita, I could have figured this out. But like even like from the getting the Dockers, like I don't know what the frick a Docker is. So like knowing all the ones that you want, like he actually set me up with a really good like HUD interface for animation. And after playing with the layers and all that stuff, like I feel like I could come into my own little groove with and create some good movement and all the sort of things. Like I'll know how much is okay to skip, or how much is like not okay. Like for example, what I have right here is really choppy. So I would have to go back, like, I think the layer, the purple line actually looks a little bit better, but still, it's definitely not, like, moving. It's like, so I would need to go back and in between a lot of these so it, like, flows a bit more. So that, like, I don't animate, so I'm not holding myself to that crazy standard. I really want to experiment with this program, and I definitely, like, after seeing what this looks like, I now know why frames take so long, why animation takes so long and why it's so hard, because it's just like a lot of tedious work, especially if you're doing a lot of detailed stuff frame by frame. But like the fact that you can like, you know, do all the in-betweening and like do the transformations and the stretches, like I can already see how people do what they do. And he even gave a great resource for taking it to the next level. So I really like this tutorial, and now I like, and that's exactly what a beginner tutorial needed, which is enough information that's not overloading to give me the confidence to just like start making moving pictures. And I think that's like what any tutorial for animation strives for. So go out there, find some tutorials, and don't forget to like this video if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't, smack the bell so you never miss a thing. This was a little bit different for me, but I do gaming stuff, so check me out. I'll see you guys, and I'll also link this tutorial and Jesse J. Jones's channel in the description. Take care. This is Dave out. Peace out.